is one of the richest countries in the world, and that's because of our forests. Let's protect our forest so that it protects us. Our forest brings development. It promotes sustainable livelihoods for our youth and women and makes the tourists to come and see what we have. They come to see our animals, our beautiful beaches and waterways. Let's keep our forests alive so that we benefit forever and ever.
My people, yeah, let's protect our forests.
Protect it all. Protect it all.
It is always a pleasing honor to wake up every time and come here and talk about the natural resource sector, specifically the forest of Liberia.
This is our future.
Good afternoon and a pleasant welcome to another fascinating edition of the program Forest Hour on OKFM 99.5.
Reserve it. Reserve.
This program is brought to you by the Liberia Forest Media Watch with sponsorship from the European Union through the French Development Agency
Let's keep the forest alive.
and Cemempo in Finland.
Can prosper. Don't spot it.
My name is Matthias Labindi. Today,
It's blessed. Our forest.
unfortunately, not that she is disabled, but Joy cannot make it on the show. We have a full house.
Liberia
But she's standing here, she's producing. She's doing production today.
forests.
My people,
Today, Joy is producing. She's behind the scenes today.
Protect it all.
But if you follow the program, if you follow yesterday, the Liberia Forest Media Watch took the program live. Yesterday was the launch of the National Network for the Alliance of Indigenous Peoples and Local Communities for Conservation in Africa, Liberian chapter.
Africa is
And the Liberia Forest Media Watch was there. By the way, ACA is a pan-African umbrella organization formed to amplify the collective voice,
the forest
agency, and leadership of indigenous peoples
of our.
and local communities in conservation efforts across Africa.
Let's keep our
It is my pleasing honor to announce to you this afternoon that I have three distinct personalities.
forest.
What do we have to show?
In fact, all of our guests this afternoon, they are from, different countries. They are Africans, but they are from different countries.
Benefit.
Mina is from Lofa. Mina is a Liberian now.
Don't destroy
Yeah. But let me introduce my guests. The guests are
the forest.
Mr. Malidada Langa. He's the chairman of the steering committee of the Alliance of Indigenous Peoples and Local Communities for Conservation in Africa,
Our children
ACA.
will are the forest.
Liberia is one of the richest
Mr. Peter Osiwusu
forests.
is ACA regional focal point for West Africa.
Our forest,
The West African countries, right?
it promotes
And Mrs. Mina Bien
our youth and women
is ACA national focal point for Liberia.
have. They come to see
I
our
know you're wondering, what are indigenous people? Of course, you've heard that word before.
alive.
And how do indigenous people involve into the conservation of their natural resource, specifically forest?
Our forest.
You want to understand that? Oh, certainly we're going to do that. Welcome to it.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
going to go for a break quickly.
Protect.
One thing I like about my co-host Joy,
Let's protect
unfortunately the program yesterday only one representative per institution,
the
but
forest.
they would have loved her. She's an agile woman. She's standing behind the camera like she's done that for many years. We'll be right back after this break.
So we can live. Let's keep the forest alive. So we can prosper. Don't spot it. Liberia is rich. Don't describe. Liberia is blessed. Our forest. Liberia is rich. Don't describe. Liberia is blessed. Our forest. Liberia is rich. Reserve it. Liberia is blessed. Reserve it. Liberia is rich. Reserve it. Liberia is blessed. Take good care of it.
A message from Wild Chimpanzee Foundation, produced by Eddie Theater Production.
My people, yeah, let's protect our forest.
Protect it. We must protect it.
Isn't that a clarion call to all of us that we must protect our forest? Good afternoon and a pleasant welcome to the program Forest Hour. Welcome again. If it's your first time joining us, we are here every Thursday, 4 to 5 o'clock. And the program is brought to you by the Liberia Forest Media Watch with sponsorship from the European Union through the French Development Agency. If you've not heard, Liberia now has its own chapter of the Alliance for Indigenous Peoples and Local Communities for Conservation in Africa, AICA. The Liberian chapter was launched yesterday, thanks to CESDEF, who made that possible, the institution that made that possible, Liberia Forest Media Watch, plus other local civil society organizations. And we're privileged to announce to you that we have 3 distinct guests in the studio this afternoon. Mr. Malidada Langa, Chairman of the Steering Committee of the Alliance of Indigenous Peoples and Local Communities for Conservation in Africa. Mr. Peter Osi Wusu, ACA Regional Focal Point for West Africa. Mrs. Mina Bien, ACA National Focal Point for Liberia. And I am Matthias Labindi. Joy Madiemo, the co-host, is behind the scenes. She's doing production today. Welcome to it. Let me begin with the chairman. Good afternoon, chairman. Welcome to the program Forest Hour. You might want to sit up a little bit.
Good afternoon, Matthias. I'm glad to be here in this beautiful studio.
It's good to have you, sir. The pleasure is ours. Thanks for coming. Mina?
Good afternoon. I'm happy to be here as well.
Right. Welcome. Welcome. Pa Wusu?
Yeah. Thank you. Good afternoon, Liberia. I'm also pleased to be here.
It's good to have you all. Like I said yesterday, it is when you talk about indigenous peoples and all of us that understand the importance of our roots, we connect ourselves to that particular conversation in a way that we feel a part of it and we take ownership of that gathering. And it's good to have you here. The Liberia Forest Media Watch is very pleased to be part of this very, great organization. Our reporting we've done over time, we've amplified the voices of communities in Liberia regarding the natural resource sector, and forming part of ACA Liberian chapter is one thing that I must state on behalf of the Liberia Forest Media Watch, that we feel really, honored that we are part of this group and that our work has been recognized both locally and continentally. I will start with the chairman. Mr. Chairman, welcome. Malidada Langa. Where's that from?
The name is actually Malidadi.
Malidadi, sorry.
Langa.
Malidadi Langa.
The name has got Swahili origins. As you might be aware, I come from Malawi.
Okay.
And Malawi is a neighboring country to Tanzania.
Right.
So we borrow each other names. We intermarry.
Okay.
And we have a lot of cross-border blood and social relationship with Tanzania. So the name came from there.
So it's
But
a
I'm
Swahili
Malawian.
name.
Yes.
What does it mean?
It means something special, something precious, something beautiful.
Oh, you are beautiful. You are precious, sir.
I hope I am.
I know you are. You are. I must tell you, you are very precious. Listening to you yesterday, presenting and how it took you no time to connect with Liberia, and you spoke my mind and the minds of a lot of people out there. Thank you so much. What Liberian dish have you tasted since you've been here?
Yeah, there was this dish. I really liked it.
You didn't like it?
Yeah, it was a mix of potato leaves. Fortunately, we also have them in Malawi and we enjoy them. But the twist was it was mixed with some fish.
Okay.
And then the flavor completely transformed. I couldn't really recognize it was the same potato leaves. So
The preparation is different.
I'll make sure maybe Mina gives me the recipe so we can try it out.
Okay.
Because we have the potato leaves, we have the fish in Malawi too. Yeah.
You must try Tabagitu. I think that's a very, very nice one. Mina should not be selfish with the meal here. Mina is a Liberian now.
I think she should take us around and get
Absolutely.
to sample something like that.
I mean, it's good to have a Malarian living from Liberia, going there and experiencing that. I went to Liberia. I tasted potato grain.
Yes.
I swallowed GB. GB is what you have to eat with your hands.
Yeah,
Put it there and swallow.
Yeah.
Have you tried that?
not yet.
Indigenous people, connect yourself with the roots in Liberia.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday, Pa Osi Wusu was wearing kente. And the moment, Pa Osi, can you just look up there a little bit on your, that's a kente cloth, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Do you recognize that person?
Is that Park Wasindu?
Aha. There you go. So they said, that's a kente. I mean, the moment I saw him, I thought about my own godfather, but he's not in the country now. Former Ghanaian ambassador to Liberia, Ambassador Ernest Asari Asiedu.
Okay.
He would always wear kente, and every time I met him, he would tell me about some of the traditional things you do. But welcome to Liberia, sir.
Thank you.
How is your stay so far?
I was here on Monday, and from the airport to the next day at noon, it rained.
Okay.
So I kept indoors. I came out briefly after the rains and then went back to rest. But the following day, I tasted what they call fever leaf, isn't it? Yes, fever leaf.
Okay.
We have it in Ghana a lot, but it was the first time I tasted.
Okay.
Again, the following day it was potato leaves.
Potato grains.
Yes, potato greens.
Okay.
I also ate it for the first time.
Okay.
Again, we have them there, but I never tasted it before.
How's the flavor like?
The potato leaves, yes, but the other one was a bit bitter.
Okay.
Yes, but once people, when I go anywhere, I want to eat the food.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat that kind of food I've been eating at home.
Absolutely.
So I enjoyed it, yeah.
That's the beauty of connecting to the African roots. And I mean, and these are all organic and herbal food that we eat, like the fever leaves. I mean, you might want to try it. I'm recommending Tobogi because I'm from Lofa. So I want you to try that.
But let me warn you, if you want to pronounce the name, it is Osei.
Osei
yes.
Wusu.
The king of Ashanti is called Osei. So if you come there and you pronounce it in a different way, you might be in trouble.
Thank you so much, Your Royal Highness. Thank you so much. Mina Bien,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you.
But Mina, I don't have a particular question for you right now about whether you've assimilated so well in the Liberian society. Just that
I'm a Liberian.
She's alive. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, how are you? I mean, how are you doing? How is Liberia with you working with CSOs here?
It's been great. It's been close to 14 years in Liberia.
But wait,
I am-
did you already mean what you said?
I am.
A Liberian?
I'm married to a Liberian
Okay.
from Zigida in Lofa County.
No. I just see the Loma in you. You know, I just see the Loma. You know, I never said that. I said, but this woman looks Loma, but it's okay. Yeah.
So I've been around for some time.
Okay.
Not just working with civil society, but I've been in the interior, working with our indigenous communities on issues surrounding natural resources.
That's a great one. Let's get into this thing. Let's get into this discussion. Very important. Let's educate the public. Let brain pop. In fact, people are already asking me on my post that I did regarding yesterday's program how they can be members of ACA Liberian chapter. Mr. Chairman, I want to begin by giving us a little history of ACA. How did it come about? Why was it necessary to establish this organization now that is extending from I don't know which country started it first, continentally, and then before now it's extending is in West Africa. Oh my God, how is that name? The Royal Highness, sir, is that Osei? Osei
Yes.
Wusu.
Don't struggle to pronounce it. Osei.
I'll
Yes.
try. Yeah, sure. Give us the history of ACA.
Yeah, thank you, Matthias. AICA actually has its roots in the IUCN African Protected Areas Congress. This was the first ever congress that was convened by IUCN, the International Union for the Conservation of Nature. It was convened in Kigali in July 2022.
Okay.
Now, the congress was a big event. I was privileged to be in the planning committee, organizing committee, and then the planning process ran for well over a year. And there was a lot of build up towards the congress itself. And as part of that build up, indigenous peoples and local communities had various preparatory conferences. There was a conference in Southern Africa in Vic Falls. There was another one in East Africa in Nairobi. Then another one in DRC, Goma. Then another one again in Kenya. I suppose there was another one in West Africa.
Okay.
So the idea was each region of Africa should come with clearly articulated issues that indigenous peoples and local communities face with regard to conservation. So when we conveyed in Kigali in July 2022, we also met at what was again a pre-Congress conference. This was now a gathering of leaders from indigenous peoples and the local community organizations from across Africa, North Africa, West Africa, East Africa, Southern Africa, and Central Africa. Now, this was a 2-day conference. And then during that conference, each region was presenting their experiences with conservation, the challenges that they face. And then at the end of the day, what we discovered was that after all, the entire continent, all indigenous peoples and local communities, wherever they are, we face the same conservation-related challenges. If you talk about insecure land rights, or you talk about human-wildlife conflict, if you talk about displacement of people to create national parks,
Right.
if you talk about human rights violations related to conservation, all these stories came from all the corners of Africa. Then we said, look, we share the same conservation challenges. Now what do we do? So there was a resolution that was made that as Africans, indigenous peoples and local communities, we needed to come together, create a platform, we called it a Pan-African IPLC body that would champion advocacy to address these issues. After all, we had discovered we are one people, we face the same challenges, so we are better off working together.
Right.
So then at the end of the conference, there was a document which we produced, which was called the Kigali IPLC Declaration. And in that declaration, the key resolution was the establishment of a Pan-African IPLC body to deal with the injustices and other conservation-related challenges that people face, IPLCs face across Africa. So that is the history leading to the establishment of ICA.
Before I get to, Pa Wusu, why is ICA important for people living near forests, rivers, and nature? With the formation of ICA in Africa, and you talk about all of the discussions you've had, let me get to, the King, His Royal Highness. Why is ICA important, to people living near forest or in forested communities, rivers, as well as nature? I told you yesterday during the presentation that I come from a place called Bayama Town in Lofa County. My great-grandparents tapped palm wine. They, farmed, they planted cocoa, coffee. So talking about indigenous people, I couldn't have felt any better being around any group of people than that group yesterday. Why should I feel that this group is a family than a group that maybe somebody would say conservation, people need to farm, people need to do this? Why is this organization important?
First, they say the tree is life. Yes, so without the tree, there will be no life.
Right.
Beginning from the air we breathe, the trees regulate the amount of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. You also have trees to influence rainfall. So you realize that where there are trees, where there are forests, you have a lot of rainfall. Where there are not, you have very little rainfall, even though the air circulates, but there is more rainfall where we have forests. And when even the rain falls, if you don't have the forest, the water will just run off the surface to wherever it's going to collect, probably ending up the sea.
Right.
But when you have the forest, the soil is soft, the water will percolate and then sink gradually into the water table. So it's available all the time.
Right.
Again, if you are going to farm, you want where the land is fertile.
Right.
And where you have the forest, the land is fertile. Even before you produce the food, they are already naturally growing food, like the pear, the oranges, they are all, we are growing them in the house. So we think, but they are all forest plants before we brought them we domesticated them. So you see, you have the air, you have water, you have food, and then you even talking of shelter. And without the trees, I wonder whether we'll be able to build. Now we are bringing in the iron and the others, but more importantly, the people in those communities that we are talking of, do they have the resources to go and buy iron and those things to build? So then it's also shelter. There are some other produce in the forest. We call them collectively non-timber forest produce, and the mushrooms, the snails, the canes. There are a lot of them that are available for use domestically. There are a lot of them people collect and sell to make a living. So if you don't have the forest, then it means you will not get all these things. And the indigenous people, the local communities that we are talking about, they are not in the cities to engage in the trading, the buying and selling. They are there tilling the land, and they are collecting these non-timber forest produce. So you see that the forest is so much of importance to these people. If you destroy them, you are destroying the people. If you destroy the forest, you are destroying the life.
So ACA comes in to explain more the
Yes.
importance of their forest.
Yes.
I mean, as the way you lay it down, you just paint a whole picture of it.
Yes. So that collectively we will call biodiversity, and so maybe as we go on, we might want to expand more on biodiversity.
Absolutely. Right, Mina, I know you want to, provide further information on some of the things that the elders have said, but just to ask you your question directly, you are the focal person of ACA Liberian chapter. Before we talk about the Liberian chapter, let's talk about just weighing a little bit on your understanding why you think it was important for ACA to be established in Africa and bringing African countries together. Today I'm privileged to have a Malawian in the studio, a Ghanaian in the studio. We are having conversation regarding the conservation of our forests in Africa.
Thank you. ICA, it's indigenous peoples, from indigenous communities. And in Africa, people would say, and people have argued about the fact that where are the indigenous people? And the fact that they should separate indigenous people from local communities. The reason being that in other continents, indigenous peoples are well defined and are separate from other local communities. But when you come to Africa, we are the indigents of Africa. And we have been here for centuries. Our forefathers were there. We have been there. And generations to come will be there. And so when you come to Africa, and particularly when you come to Liberia, there is nothing to distinguish between indigenous person and a local community. We are indigenous and we continue to be indigenous, but we live in our local communities. We have the tribes that give us that difference among ourselves. So that's the first clarity that I want to put out.
Right.
The second is, in the whole world globally, indigenous people, including all of us, have conserved our forest, our ecosystem. 80% of the ecosystem has been conserved by indigenous people. And it's great and very important. And we Africans, and bringing down to Liberia, we have 43% of the remaining Upper Guinean forest sitting in Liberia. And where does it come from? It comes from the work of indigenous communities. They have been there to protect, they have been there to conserve, they have been there to support conservation efforts. And that's why we have that amount sitting. And so it's very important that we need to bring them together. And like the chair mentioned, there are issues that are similar across Africa. You talk about issues of tenure. We have that also in Liberia. Issues of conservation efforts, capacity, benefits from conservation, human-wildlife conflicts. All these issues are there, and we are facing some in Liberia. Issues of livelihood in conservation effort areas are also clear. Yesterday at the launch, we have indigenous people, local communities, representatives telling us about all these issues, that all these challenges that I've mentioned about. The livelihood issues, we have land tenure issues, benefit sharing issues. They brought all these issues at the launch yesterday. But Liberia has a very good opportunity for ICA to thrive, because we have good laws. One of it is the Land Right Act. We also have the Forestry Reform Law,
Right.
that also supports local communities' conservation actions. We also have the Community Rights Law that also gives the legal backing for communities to take care of their forest and own their forest land and benefit from their forest land. So these are good opportunities for us in Liberia, and the fact that we need to also raise these voices at this national level, and not just the national level, but goes to the continental level for others to learn, and we also to learn from them how they are being conserving and how their national government is able to support
Right.
the actions of indigenous people to conserve better. Now we're talking about placing people
Right.
at the center of conservation.
Indigenous people specifically.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, Mina, the thing is, there's this. It's just it's an eye opener, and my mind is traveling through this whole conversation in a way that there are too many questions coming to my mind right now, and I'm going to ask one question that all of you